Lawyer Vishnu Shankar Jain told the court that he can say with authority that an attempt has been made to alter the Shivling inside the Wazukhana of the Gyanvapi Masjid. Vishnu Shankar Jain said that a hole had been drilled into the Shivling intentionally to pass it off as a fountain. You might recall, viewers, just a few days ago, when the survey was on, a large number of petitioners ran out and said that they had discovered Baba, that they had actually found the Shivling. Moments later, that claim was disputed, and a few hours later, videos started doing the rounds suggesting that the Shivling was actually a fountain. Videos like that started doing the rounds on social media. In fact, the report, however, of the survey commissioner noted that the Shivling-like structure had a 63-centimeter deep hole bored into it from the top, and they said that the hole was about half an inch wide in radius. Not just that, but a plate was cemented on the top of the Shivling, also to give the impression that the structure was a fountain. Now listen in to Vishnu Shankar Jain as he made this disclosure. Listen in.
शिवलिंग था वो मुस्लिम पक्ष के कब्जे में था और जो ये फव्वारा कह रहे हैं उसको एक्चुअली डैमेज किया है इन्होंने और फव्वारे में 63 सेंटीमीटर का जो छेद पाया गया है जो एडवोकेट कमिश्नर साहब ने भी कहा है वो छेद इन्हीं लोगों ने किया है। उसके ऊपर एक चक्री टाइप की चीज इन्होंने रखी थी जो आप सीमेंट का 5 खांचा देख रहे हैं वो इन्हीं लोगों का किया हुआ है और जो चक्री है वो इनके स्टोर रूम में है। कुछ दिन पहले की घटना है, चक्री को ले जा रहे थे जिसको सीआरपीएफ ने रोक लिया और वो अभी स्टोर रूम में उसकी वीडियोग्राफी फोटोग्राफी हुई है। मस्जिद की स्टोर रूम में सील्ड है, जब कमीशन पे बात होगी तब हम उसको कोर्ट के सामने रखेंगे।
देखिए, उठाया तो गया है लेकिन पूर्णतः सफल नहीं हो पाएंगे। माननीय प्रशासन पर हमें पूर्ण विश्वास है, माननीय न्यायालय पर विश्वास है, इसलिए हमारा प्रमाण अक्षुण्ण रहेगा।
Moments after this, the Masjid side came out, viewers, and said that this was an outlandish theory that was being propagated to spread canons and invite a backlash. When there was no Shivling, how can anyone even make such a claim, is what was said. Listen in.
देखिए, सही बात तो ये है कि अगर विष्णु जैन साहब ने ये बयान दिया है तो उनके बयान की क्या ऑथेंटिकेसी है ये तो बेहतर वही बता पाएंगे। लेकिन जब शिवलिंग पाया ही नहीं गया है तो उसको डैमेज करने का सवाल कहां से पैदा होता है। इस तरह की हारमोनी नहीं फैलानी चाहिए, इससे लोगों में गलत संदेश जाता है। लोग जो है बेमतलब की अफवाहों से बचें और जो अफवाहें फैलाने वाले लोग हैं मैं उनसे कटिबद्ध प्रार्थना करता हूं कि कृपया इस तरह की अफवाहें न फैलावें, शहर में अमन चैन रहने दें।
We will be speaking to Mr. Vishnu Shankar Jain in just a few moments, viewers, but in the interim, let me quickly take you over what the survey report concluded. Here on your screens are the findings. They said a well-like 7.5-foot wide structure was discovered in the Wazukhana. Those pictures are quite clearly visible. Finding 2. Inside this particular Wazukhana, circular pond, a structure was also found. Finding 3. The structure is a 2.5 foot tall, 4 feet wide obelisk. Finding 4. This structure resembles a traditional Shivling. A 9.9-inch round stone or a plate has been placed separately on top of this structure. And there you can see that it's been carved into 5. Obviously, viewers, to give the impression that there are channels running through it. It goes on to say that these 5 channels were carved into this round structure. Obviously, they didn't exist before that. Below the stone, the structure was one piece. It was in no way divided anywhere. It was one solid piece. And after the algae was cleared, a black structure was seen. Now, many people had said that a Shivling can't ever be green in color. It must only be black. the report points out that once you clean the algae off it, you can say that it is jet black in color. Now viewers, obviously this big twist has once again renewed the debate, and it is a debate that is being sparked because of a claim. So let's go straight across to Mr. Shivshankar Jain, who joins us. Mr. Shivshankar Jain, thank you very much for speaking to Times Now. You've been representing the Hindu case in this entire episode. First of all, how can you be so sure, Mr. Jain, that this particular structure is a Shivling and it has actually been tampered with to try and suggest that it's a fountain?
See, now I think you should not also trust me, because as of now, on the record of the court, by virtue of Order 26 Rule 10 of the CPC, the commission report is on record. And what the commission has said, the commission has also said that this is a Shivling. And so far as the aspect of that space in the Shivling is concerned, the commission, Advocate Commission, has specifically mentioned in his report that there is a small hole of 63 centimeter which is going down. So the point is, Rahul, that from past 30 to 40 years after the judgment of Deen Muhammad, there was a strong effort taken by the Muslim community to oust us from the possession, and ultimately that happened. There was another Advocate Commission which had gone into on 30th of July 1996, and they were not allowed to enter the barricading. The moment this barricading has happened in the entire area of Khasra number 9130, we have been ousted from the possession. So now the point is that this Shivling was in their possession, and this Shivling has been, and the point is this: if you will read the commission report, the caretaker of the so-called mosque was asked a question by the Advocate Commissioner that how this fountain works. He said 12 साल पहले चलता है fountain, 20 साल पहले चलता था, exactly नहीं बता सकता. So that theory I am telling, that what they call fountain, that chakri is there in the storeroom of the mosque, which is videographed, which is photographed, and there is no fountain as such. Hello, just a minute. And there is no fountain, Rahul, because the point is this, that if you will see the entire area, beneath the Waju area, there is a stair which is going beneath the Waju area. And there we all went, and the commission, Advocate Commission also went. And we requested the Advocate Commission to direct them to remove the artificial wall. 1 second, let him finish. Therefore, Advocate Commissioner said, sir, just a minute, you keep condemning. You keep condemning, let me finish. The point is this, Rahul, that we have made an application in the court because the Advocate Commissioner said that it is not within my power to break the walls, break the artificial walls. Therefore, we made an application under 82GA to the court saying that please remove this artificial wall and let us see how this fountain works. Where is the water management system? From where is the water coming? So then there is an objection. And what is the objection, Rahul? That the suit is not maintainable. Now the point is this, that if this is a fountain, and I asked everyone, all the panelists here, that already there is an order passed by the Civil Court of Varanasi for ASI survey. The Muslims are in appeal before the Allahabad High Court. Please vacate the stay. Let us vacate the stay and let us have a thorough investigation and have an expert opinion under Section 45 of the Indian Evidence Act, that whether this is a Shivling or a fountain. What is the problem? If you are saying that whatever I have said, or Mr. Abhay Yadav, you are just playing his bite, that Mr. Abhay Yadav said that this is not a Shivling at all. I also want to thrash out this point, that whether this is a Shivling or a fountain, and let us have a ASI survey. The order is already there. Only a small thing has to be done by the Muslim side. They have to just give an undertaking to the court that we want to withdraw our application for a stay. And let us see, the order will proceed further. The law will take its own course. Rahul, the point is this. See, we have been in the commission, and there are obscene number of evidences which prove that this was a Hindu temple in the past. I ask a question to myself, in which mosque there are bells, in which mosque there are alas, in which mosque, very funny incident has happened, Rahul. Masjid के अंदर एक कैलेंडर है, ज्ञानव्यापी मस्जिद का कैलेंडर है, उस जब कैलेंडर को उठाएगा तो नीचे स्वास्तिक का चिन्ह मिलता है. त्रिशूल के चिन्ह मिलते हैं, डमरू मिलता है। मस्जिद के अंदर कितने सारे आले बने हुए हैं जो हमारे देवी देवताओं को रखने के स्थान थे, उसको खूब अच्छे से पेंट किया गया है कि जो उसका लाल पत्थर का कैरेक्टर है वो मिटाया जा सके। नीचे जो तहखाना है उसमें जो खंबे मिले हैं, उसमें जो पिलर मिले हैं, वो पूरे के पूरे हिंदू मंदिर के खंबे और पिलर है। इसके अलावा जो हिंदू देवी देवताओं की कटी हुई मूर्तियां हैं, जो खंबों पे मूर्तियां थी उसको चैनी हथौड़े से तोड़ा गया है। गुंबद के ऊपर गुंबद रखा गया है जो हिंदू मंदिर का शिखर था। इतने सारे प्रूफ्स है। अब आपको नहीं मानना है तो आप मत मानिए, हम तो इसीलिए कोर्ट गए।
Okay, well, let me just quickly bring in Mr. Ambedkar for balance here, because he has a problem. Now, Mr. Ambedkar, there are two questions that have been posed to you by Vishnu Jain. If you have nothing to hide, why don't you allow a survey unimpeded, open the walled off portion of the wuzu khana and let people see if it's a fountain or if it's actually a shivling, if there are waterworks, if there's plumbing, etc. And number two, most importantly, he claims that there has been an attempt to tamper with the proof. There was first an attempt made to trivialize this shivling. We know the crass jokes, memes, etc. that did the rounds. Now tampering. Are you going out of your way to deny Hindus what is a very clearly established historical truth?
No, firstly, I condemn the statement given by the Vishnu Jain. Continuously, he is calling that structure as a shivling. Shivling, continuously. In which order that the structure has been defined as a shivling? Is there any order? He is talking about the order 6, rule 10. Where is there any order of the court that that structure is a shivling? First of all, stop calling that structure as a shivling. Secondly, there is the High Court decision, Allahabad High Court decision, that tells in 2021 that the judicial courtesy and decorum warranted such discipline which was expected from the court below. In the same way, departed from this traditional way in the present case and chose to examine the question himself. I have said so with the fond judicial enthusiasm should not obliterate the profound responsibility that is expected from the court below. Justice Padilla said this one. So the lower court don't have the authority to take that petition and give the order for the survey and for the sealing of that structure. So 2 points are very clearly, and the Supreme Court in 2019 decision, 5 judges bench told it totally clearly that in the Ismail Faruqi case that the Supreme Court made this observation in response to the center's submission that what had happened at Ayodhya on December 6, 1992 could never happen again. And another case.
No, one second, Mr. Ambedkar. You are gone completely off. No, 1 second. Let's come back. Come back to the real issues. Let's come back to the real issues, sir.
Come to the law.
Sir, you are rewriting the Constitution. Dr. Ambedkar did a good job of putting it all together. Now you are undoing the work of your own namesake.
There is no value of
70 years later. Now please don't rewrite the Constitution on live national TV. You are completely misrepresenting facts here. I'm not going into those facts. Those facts are at this moment sub judice. The questions were two, and they were very simple.
I'm talking about the legal issues.
Are you trying to alter the status of the shivling to bury a truth? It's a simple question. Has there been? It's a very grave charge, Mr. Ambedkar.
Mr. Rahul, kindly listen. If Vishnu Jain is talking about the rules and regulations and laws, come and talk with me regarding the laws. What Supreme Court said in the MCD
One second. You're a spokesperson for the All India Muslim. No, 1 second. No, 1 second. You are an MIM spokesperson. No, please. Don't drone on and on. Just give me 30 seconds. Let me just step in here. I think you've not understood the question. or you're deliberately...
I understood. Listen, Rahul. I understood everything, but आप जो है ना आस्था के आधार पर देश को चलाना चाह रहे हैं ना, आस्था के आधार पर शिवलिंग कहना चाह रहे हैं ना. What was the structure?
प्रूफ के आधार पे चलाना चाहते हैं.
लाइए प्रूफ करते हैं ना. सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश का आप वायलेशन करेंगे. आर यू वायलेटिंग द मालिनी भट्टाचार्य कोटेशन?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm really confused. Are you just eating up time because you're just talking absolute...
What Vishnu Jain is saying?
Vishnu Jain is saying that I have seen it with my own eyes. The court appointed commissioner in his report has said we have seen a shivling-like structure that has been bored through.
Shivling-like structure. Why are you calling shivling-like structure? That was not propounded by any court order. That was not propounded or ordered by any court.
Vishnu Jain, quick response to Mr. Ambedkar. I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan. I want to bring in...
Rahul.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
See, the point is this, that why am I calling a shivling? What am I? I'm a lawyer for the Hindu side. What am I supposed to call? Should I say that it's a fountain? See, if I have seen a shivling, I will obviously call it a shivling. That will be my claim. And what was the judgment passed by the Honorable Trial Court while sealing this entire area? The Honorable Trial Court said, sir, just a minute.
Listen, Rahul.
Listen, let him speak, Mr. Ambedkar.
That this is a shivling which has been found and therefore this has been sealed. Now, when they went to the Supreme Court, this was their precise argument, that don't call it a shivling. The Honorable Supreme Court wrote in the order, shivling as claimed. So, ठीक है, you are saying don't call it a shivling. You believe it's a fountain. It should be your belief. I believe that this is a shivling. But the test of the time is, but the test of the evidence is, Rahul, which my friend is not answering, that what is the problem with the ASI survey? What is the problem? That let's test this point, that whether this is a shivling or a fountain. You prove me that I'm wrong. I'm saying I want to be proved wrong. You prove that whatever Vishnu Shankar Jain is saying is frivolous. Let's have a survey. Rahul, we both
it appears, look, objectively, why would anyone want to stop a survey that the Supreme Court says does not even violate the 1991 Act, the law? That's a moot question. That's not being answered here by either Mr. Ambedkar, and hopefully when I come to Mr. Zubair Memon, he is going to be more forthcoming. But in the meantime, let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, I think at a rhetorical level, Vishnu Shankar Jain, great lawyer, has made an intervention. He says, look, this entire drama can end. If it's a shivling, we will know if you give us access. Why oppose a survey? If your conscience is clear, if you know your history and your facts, just open it out. What's the big deal?
Yes, good evening, my esteemed panelists. You know, Rahul, 4 days ago, I said that
the Hindus are second-class citizens. I apologize for that remark. I was wrong. The Hindus are third-class citizens. If it isn't that they have been subjected to this cruel and barbaric Places of Worship Act, if it isn't that their temples are under the control exclusively of the government, if it isn't that their idols and deities are being shamelessly desecrated as claimed by Mr. Jain, then surely the very fact that a religion whose dogma ordains that Hindus are the worst of features, that Kafirs must be obliterated, annihilated, that very religion and the people who worship in that religion are conducting prayers at a place that was clearly built upon demolishing a Hindu temple. What more extreme provocation evidence do you need? I don't understand this. In which country? Let me give you an example. If I as a Hindu was chanting Hanuman Chalisa in a temple that was built upon a demolished mosque, would my friends here, Mr. Menon, would he not be provoked? Would it not be an egregious act on my part? It is astonishing. What kind of country is this? Meri samajh mein nahi aa raha hai. Or number two, with due respect to Mr. Jain, who is clearly, as you said, brilliant and is taking up the side, his side, I have to say what I said on the first day of the debate, Rahul, that unfortunately Hindus have fallen into this trap of proving whether a shivling exists or not. It is immaterial to their case, totally immaterial, because the fact remains that in order to prove whether that indeed is a shivling or not, you cannot do carbon dating, because it is a non-living thing. You cannot do radioactive dating because the stone will be possibly of millions of years old. It has to be, the evidence has to be textual or anecdotal. And in both cases, the evidence does not exist. But the fact of the matter is, why go to the extent of proving Shivling right or wrong? You know from Masjid-e-Alamgiri, you know from all the surrounding primary sources that this indeed was a temple and it was demolished by Aurangzeb. And on top of that was the mosque that was built, Gyanvapi mosque. So two things must happen immediately. Sir, please, I did not interrupt you.
Go back. Why only Aurangzeb? Why only Aurangzeb? Why are you not talking about the Pushpamitra Sangha?
One second, Mr. Ambedkar, you can't railroad somebody else. Let him speak. Let him speak. Respect. Respect. Please.
Favorable statements are not.
Mr. Ambedkar, don't worry. Even though I'm not Aurangzeb, I'm going to demolish your argument. Just please have patience for 1 minute. Rahul, two things must happen immediately. Number one, all prayers by people professing the faith of Islam must stop immediately at Gyanvapi mosque. It is, to my mind, and it is an extreme provocation. And number two, because a BJP spokesperson is there, I implore him to put the Places of Worship Act in immediate abeyance. You cannot have a barbaric Places of Worship Act in regulation and in use at this time of the day. Now let me come to Mr. Ambedkar, who reminds me of Guido in 8.5 of Fellini. I have nothing to say, but I'll say it anyway. Number one, Mr. Ambedkar, let me ask you one question, because you represent AIMIM, and there are two other fellow Muslims on this panel. Do you believe, straight question hai, himmat hai to answer kariyega, do you believe that Ahmadiyyas are Muslims, yes or no? And number two, if a Buddhist temple or shrine was demolished by Aurangzeb and a mosque built on it, and there was confirmatory evidence that yes, indeed, that was the case, would you not want that Buddhist temple to be returned to Buddhists? These are the two questions. If you have the guts, if you have the guts, answer these two questions. Number one, are Ahmadiyyas Muslims?
Okay. Let me answer. Do you believe in the statement of Bal Gangadhar Tilak Sahib?
The answer to a question.
Do you believe?
I will answer all your questions.
By the Bal Gangadhar Tilak Sahib?
मैं आप जैसा नहीं हूँ, Mr. Ambedkar. मैं आप जैसा नहीं हूँ. I will answer all your questions. But I asked you two questions. Why don't you have the guts to answer those two questions? Rahul is there as a judge. He will make sure I answer your questions. He will make sure that I answer your questions. But I want you to have the guts tonight, live, in front of all Indians, to have the guts to say.
Why are you not talking about the Raja Brother? Who killed Raja Brother? Who killed Raja Brother and who has demolished the Buddhist stupas? Who has demolished the Buddhist stupas? Why are you not talking about the Jagannath Puri temple as a Buddhist structure?
Rahul, can I come in here?
About that?
Yes, of course. You can. I have not stopped anybody.
What Swami Vivekananda
but the problem is his constant interruptions, you know.
Okay.
So why are you not talking about all that structures?
Okay, 1 second. You see, we have a problem here.
So on record.
Yeah.
Rahul, on record, let it be on record that Mr. Ambedkar, who unfortunately shares the same name as the great Dr. Ambedkar, did not answer both my questions.
True.
He did not answer whether Ahmadiyyas are Muslims or not.
I have answered.
Where?
I have answered.
Where have you answered?
Do you believe in the theory of the? Do you believe in the theory of Bal Gangadhar Tilak Sahib? Do you believe in the theory of Bal Gangadhar Tilak Sahib?
Mr. Ambedkar, the questions are direct to you. If you can't answer them, it's okay. You know, why are you torturing? Dr. Ranganathan, why are you torturing this gentleman? You said you were not Aurangzeb. You said you were not Aurangzeb. So don't torture him.
Now,
let him go.
30 seconds.
Let him go.
No.
Let him go tonight. Spare him.
No, are you believing?
This is the problem.
The statement given by
Now, Mr. Ambedkar, now don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, because even though you did not answer my questions, I am going to answer your question. I am going to answer it. Because I am not a Jew like you are.
Okay, let him answer. 1 second, Mr. Ambedkar, he'll answer you. 1 second, Zubair Saab, 1 second.
All evidences about Hindus demolishing Buddhist shrines and temples are fraudulent extrapolations of what a fraudulent historian D.N. Jha said. But if you are able to actually prove that indeed through primary sources, and Abbas has done
great work.
Rahul, you know, I cannot answer his question. If he interrupts
is there now.
Okay, I'm going to count till 5. Mr. Ambedkar, if you can't keep quiet, I'll have to silence you. That's not fair. You don't want to answer Dr. Ranganathan's question. You want to interrupt him when he's answering yours. This can't happen. So I'm going to count till 5. Actually, I'm going to count till 3. 1, 2, 3. If I have your silence, great. If I don't, I'm lowering your fader. I've given you the warning. Don't cry about, draconian measures taken by Times Now to silence your booming voice. Don't crib about that. I'm counting. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Yes, very briefly, मुझे किसी से डर नहीं है, इसीलिए मैं इनका क्वेश्चन आंसर कर रहा हूं. इन्होंने मेरे आंसर नहीं किया ऑन द रिकॉर्ड. नाउ लेट मी आंसर इट. Rahul, I am sure Mr. Ambedkar knows that Buddha is one of the Dasavataram of Vishnu. I am sure he knows it.
Don't
but
call
in
him.
case he is able to bring primary...
Come on.
Okay,
no.
shut him
Rahul,
down. Cut his audio. That's it. Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
In case he is able to bring primary evidence that indeed the Hindus demolished Buddhist temples and shrines, I will stand with him.
Okay.
I will go to Supreme Court and I will seek justice for the restoration of those Buddhist temples and shrines to the Buddhists. That's the whole point.
Okay.
That is the point. Historical injustices must be corrected.
One person has answered, the other one has not, has evaded. Yes. Amit Malviya, I want to bring in Rizwan Ahmed. Vishnu Shankar Jain is also there with us. Zubair Memon is also there with us. Vishnuji, one small question to you. And this is a question that I've been wanting to ask for a while now. The question is, when it is so apparent that the entire structure itself is a Hindu structure, why are we fixating, as Dr. Ranganathan is also saying, on a Shivling? What difference does it make?
Yes. See, Rahul, with due respect to Dr. Ranganathan, I really admire him a lot. But there is what we think and our perspective is this, that definitely if you will see my plaint also, we have categorically mentioned that this entire structure has all the ingredients of a Hindu temple, which has been desecrated, which has been partly demolished, and which has been tried to be converted into a mosque. But the point is that after the Shivling has been found, it has to be established for the purpose of darshan and puja. It has to be established that this entire area, this entire Vajukhana area where the Shivling has been found is a Shivling. That is number one. Without ascertaining that fact, we cannot move ahead. And definitely I join hands with Dr. Ranganathan when he has said that repeal the Places of Worship Act. I definitely join hands with Dr. Ranganathan when he said that namaz should not be offered there. In fact, my prayer before the Honorable Trial Court was that namaz should not be offered there and they should be restricted. But the Honorable Supreme Court, while balancing the entire issue, has modified that aspect. So definitely if the Parliament has to intervene, it's the prerogative of the parliamentarians to intervene in the matter. But so far as a lawyer in this case is concerned, there are certain things which have to be proved on record, and therefore this exercise is being conducted. Okay, Mr. Jain, thank you for joining us. Amit Malviya, very quickly, do you also believe that an attempt was made to change the status of this Shivling?
Well, Rahul, it is not about my belief. There is evidence to suggest that that was the case. And what is more appalling is that for all these years, the Muslim side knew that this was Shivling, yet they insisted on private parts in that Vajukhana. I think that is very, very offensive. It was being done to humiliate the Hindu community. And of course, the illegal occupation of that mosque is a tradition, and they just took it too far. Therefore, it is not about my belief or what I think. Fact remains that the site is being inspected. There is overwhelming evidence to suggest that there was a temple and a mosque has been built on it. There is historical evidence. There are writings of in Alamgiri where Aurangzeb and his courtiers have actually written it with great gusto, saying that this is what Aurangzeb did. So I don't think we are reinventing anything here. We're just putting it.
Yes, and there are in fact affidavits that have been filed. There is a lot of evidence, and there is also evidence now to suggest that this was never even a Waqf property. So viewers, it was all given to court It has been ruled in the 20s, 30s, during the British times. And Zubair Bhai, and I want to bring in Rizwan Saab. Zubair Bhai, why are you denying the truth today? Is it because, as Dr. Ranganathan says, you want to provoke? You are itching for some kind of backlash? Is that what it is? You want to disturb the peace of this nation? What is the problem?
Thank you for the chance, Mr. Rahul Shivshankar.
I would be obliged if I go at least 2 minutes patiently, and if you can hear out my 2 points. First point, according to the heading of the debate, you should be clear, and we all know there are many structures in the country which look like a shivling. That doesn't mean you will demand a survey for the properties of other personal properties or religious properties. That is point number 1. You cannot go on demanding surveys for every other structure which looks like a shivling to other person's personal property or a religious property. Second thing, what Mr. Raghunathan was saying, that places of worship act as barbarous. Thus, Mr. Vishwanathan, or that's the author, I don't know his name correctly, doesn't he have said in the
कभी रघुनाथन कह रहे हो, कभी विश्वनाथन कह रहे हो.
That is saying that worship act is barbarous. What are you saying? The acts in the Constitution, Indian Constitution, are barbaric? You don't have little bit...
Sir, is the UAPA draconian? Is the UAPA draconian? Is the UAPA draconian? Is the Sedition Act draconian? I want to ask you. Is it draconian or not? Or is it a very nice legislation?
Sir, please listen out. UAPA is a complete different discussion.
Oh, really? It's a different discussion. Okay, fair enough.
Different.
Abrogation of 370 Article 370, was it draconian? Was it arbitrary?
Are we debating 370? Yes, sir.
Sir, कमाल है आपका. कमाल है sir आपका. टाडा, UAPA, CA, सारे गंदे एक्ट हैं. Farm laws, the 3 farm laws were draconian. Oh my gosh. And you suddenly say वो तो different ही बात है. What are you talking, Zubair Memon? What are you talking?
हमें ये नहीं समझ में आता है कि जब भी लॉजिक खत्म हो जाती है तो आप लोग डाइवर्ट क्यों कर देते हो?
डाइवर्ट क्या कर रहे हैं सर? सवाल पूछ रहे हैं आपसे.
सर, इसी मुद्दे पे बात करो कि अगर कोई स्ट्रक्चर किसी के घर में, मंदिर में, मस्जिद में, किसी प्लेग्राउंड में आपको शिवलिंग जैसा दिख रहा है,
आपको प्लेग्राउंड लग रहा है?
Is it possible? Is it possible? Is it logical?
No, let me first, one second, Dr. Ranganathan, one second. Let me first bring in Rizwan Saab. Rizwan Saab, respond to... Okay, one मजाक बना के रखा है. ठीक है सर. आपने एक मस्जिद बना दिया किसी के मंदिर पे. वो मजाक नहीं है, वो मखौल नहीं है. बट सवाल पूछना आपसे मखौल है, मजाक है. वाह. Rizwan Ahmed, would you like to respond to Zubair Memon, please?
Thank you. Yeah. I hope Mr. Zubair won't interject. Thank you so much. Rahul, with all the conviction and honesty, I tell you, as of today, the Masjid party or the Masjid Paksh is coming out to be the most wicked and mischievous. For a simple reason, Rahul, that at some time they are sitting on a high moral ground saying our hands are clean, the Masjid is clean, it is made on a virgin land, and in the same breath they are fighting tooth and nail to ensure that ASI's survey of the place does not take place. Number one. Number two, I am reiterating, and I told in your program also, this is not the matter of Astha, and I am happy that Vishnu Jain is not here. He also said the same thing. It is not a matter of Astha, Rahul. It is a matter of tangible evidence which can be unearthed and unveiled by Archaeological Survey of India. So it is not a matter of Astha. सीधी सी लड़ाई है कि मस्जिद की बुनियाद क्या है, मस्जिद की छत क्या है, और इन मंदिर में और मंदिर की कितनी छाया, शैडो इज ऑन द मस्जिद. नंबर 2. नंबर 3, द जेंटलमैन सेड कि कहीं भी शिवलिंग मिल जाएगा तो क्या वो वहां पर पूजा शुरू कर देंगे? नो. आई एग्री विद यू मिस्टर जुबैर, नो. बट शिवलिंग इज नॉट द ओनली थिंग which has come out on the table in this survey. Do you say that Trishul are common in Masjid? Do you say that Damru are common in Masjid? Do you say that swastika is common in Masjid? Do you say that Kamal is common in Masjid? So for God's sake, it is not an argument of Shivling. It is a matter of many things which show the shadow of a temple on a mosque. Number 3. Number 4.
Yeah.
Rahul, when the Honorable Supreme Court has said that ascertainment of the religious character of the place has nothing to do with Act of 1991, it is a para in a judgment which is written 7 days back.
True.
I fail to understand that basing the argument on this para, why the Honorable High Court is not vacating the stay which the Muslims seeked over archaeological survey of India, survey of the place.
Yes.
The Hindu party should immediately approach the High Court on the basis of this paragraph and ask for vacation, to vacate the stay. That is all.
Well, you know, Rizwan Saab, you are speaking like a lawyer. Arguments that are logical will be lost on Mr. Memon and Mr. Ambedkar, unfortunately, tonight. Questions
Rahul,
are asked of them.
I think Mr.
Look at the
Rizwan
logic here. Law striking down triple talaq is draconian.
Rahul, let me
CA farm laws, draconian. Sedition, UAPA, draconian. But when Dr. Ranganathan, poor Dr. Ranganathan says that in his view, the 1991 Place of Worship Act is draconian, they hammer him. Metaphorically.
Rahul, can I?
Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, go ahead.
Now, my good friend Mr. Zubair, who continues to mispronounce and my name, पहले विश्वनाथन कह दिया, फिर रघुनाथन कह दिया, अब मतलब रंगनाथन को, अब मैं इनको मेमम की जगह मेनन कह दूं तो तलवारें चल जाएंगी. लेकिन मैं इनसे 2 चीजें कहना चाहता हूं. I am sure कि he respects Mahatma Gandhi. Now let me quote Mahatma Gandhi. Rahul, it's very important for you to understand the philosophical, bulwark, the buttressing, which is behind all this animosity. You please understand, and I'm quoting Mahatma Gandhi now, quote, I cannot understand how a man can change the religion of his forefathers at the insistence of another. If I had the power and could legislate, I would certainly stop all proselytizing.
Yes.
Mahatma Gandhi 33-100, 61-46. ये जो मिस्टर मेनन है, मेमम है, ये रामचरण से एक ही.
You see, at least Dr. Ranganathan, you shouldn't take offense at the fact that he has called you Vishwanath, because at least one of them has recognized the power of the Lord for which the Visheshwara temple was built. Shiv का नाम लेने से अब ये at least इनको इकरार नहीं है. That's wonderful. Rahul. That's very good.
But what I wanted to say was the continued provocation that exists, and Mr. Memon was deliberately saying कि कल को कहीं.
Well, let me tell you, viewers, the politics of one second. The politics of provocation continues. It continues from the north and it goes right down to the south. I need to move on to the next big debate.